And you're welcome back to the Pulse. Just before we get to our main stories, there's a bit of a breaking news for you because we're picking up information that the Galamsey kingpin, Aisha Huang, has been picked up in connection with some charges that were leveled up against her about 5 years ago in terms of selling the natural mineral resources of Ghana without the necessary license. It appears that 5 years on, the security agencies have been able to pick her up as we're learning that she may be arraigned for some fresh charges. Details coming up shortly, but let me bring in at this point Adib Sani, who's a security analyst, joining us via Zoom right now. Adib, thank you for your time. So this is a bit of a sketch news, but at least it's been confirmed now that the kingpin, as we know her, has been picked up. 5 years ago, she was nowhere to be found. It appears security agencies have found her. For you, what's your initial reaction to this development?
Well, like you rightly mentioned, information is a bit sketchy as of now. Because I still have some questions, running through my mind, where she was arrested and what happened to the deportation. Because so far as we are concerned, in May 2018, she was arrested and deported. So how come all of a sudden she's resurfaced only for her to be arrested? But that notwithstanding, I think it is a great step because one of the biggest challenges we've had to contend with in fighting the scourge of Galamsey in the country is impunity, because you have the who and who of the Ghanaian society being part and parcel of the degradation that they're causing to the environment, the water bodies, etc. And one of the issues that has come up over and over again is to what extent do we enforce the laws? To what extent do we hold people accountable of oblivion of their stature in society? To the extent that we have certain individuals from other parts of the world, in China, coming to destroy our water bodies. And at the point we even heard about the Chinese starting cocoa farming and all that, yet these people come and destroy our cocoa farms and nobody does anything about it. And I've always said, again, that the only way out is to ensure accountability, is to ensure that whoever is found culpable is dealt with according to the law. If not, we would keep seizing the excavators, and the same excavators would keep having its way back to the mining sites. And I've taken the trouble to go to the eastern region at a point. It was an eyesore, to say the least. And you see the excavators packed at the district assembly, at the police station, and the next minute you find those same excavators back, mining. So it's a good step. And I'm hoping that should be taken through due process, and this would also serve notice to whoever is engaged in it, whether you are a foreigner or whether you are a Ghanaian, whether you are a politician, that we are a country that is governed by the rule of law. And so much of the talk, now we're going to hold you accountable by your deeds.
In fact, initially when the story came up some 5 years ago, the challenge was that this is a foreign national coming from China. China is one of our major partners. And of course, part of the concerns was raised by Senior Minister Yao Safumafo, who talked about the fact that these are countries from which we get some official development assistance. So there's going to be a challenge prosecuting her now. You agree?
I'm sorry to say, but the comment by then Senior Minister was unfortunate because it only meant to embolden these wrongdoers. It only meant to suggest, so to speak, that we are a banana republic just by virtue of the fact that you're getting assistance from another country. Its citizens can come and do whatever they like. No, that is not how it's supposed to be. And I've also said it right from day one that we need collaboration with the Chinese, because there's absolutely no way a Chinese can come into the country unless through irregular means, without the Chinese embassy knowing. Okay, so if we had progressively collaborated with the Chinese, no Chinese citizen would come into the country without being asked what you're coming to do. Okay, so with help from the Chinese embassy, I'm sure we would have been able to mitigate what is happening. Unfortunately, we didn't see that. But we also needed to tread cautiously. So this doesn't look like an all-out war on Chinese citizens. No. It was far from that, okay? And it was far from maybe transcending into a diplomatic spat between the two countries, okay? The two countries needed to collaborate to stem the tide of galamsey in Ghana. So statements by the senior minister was neither here nor there. I mean, it was unfortunate, and I'm hoping that this time around we go beyond the talk and make sure that these individuals are brought to book. I'm yet to find out who arrested her, whether it's the police or whether it's the national security, because so far as I'm concerned, the national security is doing a great deal of work in that area, and I'm hoping that this time around things will change.
Obviously, that will not happen in isolation. The Ghana Police Service may be connected to the exercise. We're still awaiting further information on this, but we're also learning that some Ghanaians as well are being picked up in connection with the same crime. So it goes to the heart of the problem that it looks like this may never end.
Okay, Sogah. You see, we seem to be involved in a cycle. I don't know whether to call it a wild goose chase. Picking up is one thing. Ensuring proper investigation and a day in court is another thing. These individuals are picked up. They are perhaps put before the media. We see that these arrests have been made. Look, I cannot count the number of times I have seen on the news Chinese nationals picked up. But from nowhere, the whole thing just goes quiet. You don't know what happens to the suspects, whether they were duly investigated. You don't know whether they were arraigned before a magistrate. You don't know anything about it. The next minute you hear, oh, they are on their way to China. And for the Ghanaians, the same thing. It is not surprising. In some instances, people who should know better, politicians, pick up phones to call police commanders, directing them to release their boys because that mining site might have something to do with the politician. Okay, so it is not all about arrest. I mean, let's not be mistaken into thinking that arrest solve this. No, we need to follow it up to the latter. And this is a challenge to the media. If you go and report about these arrests, I think it is incumbent on the media to make follow-ups, to find out what happened to these individuals, Mr. ABC, who you arrested on this date, on these charges, what happened to the investigation. So at least we also start ensuring that the police do the right thing and not fall for some of these calls that come through. And so it is a multi-dimensional issue. Okay, it is about law, it is about enforcement, it is about community acceptance and support. It is about the work of the media. It is about commitment on the part of politicians. It is about diplomacy. Okay, so we cannot rely hook, line, and sinker on just arrest to deal with this issue. We need to deal it from its multifaceted, strand.
Okay, then.
As we do it.
Right, we need to go, but for you, what will be your final words on this and what will be your expectation from the security agencies?
I think immediately, without delay, she should be put before court. She should be made to go through the process, but I'm hoping that the government would also do it in collaboration with the Chinese embassy so it doesn't look like we are coming after Chinese citizens. Wherever you are in any part of the world, besides, she's not a diplomat, okay? Wherever you are in any part of the world, you have to obey the rules. They say if you are in Rome, you do as the Romans do. And I'm hoping it doesn't end here. More of these arrests should happen. So at least for once, we'll be doing something practical in our attempt to stem the tide of galamsey in Ghana.
Let's see what the security agencies will do. Adib Sani is a security analyst joining us on this latest that we're getting for you, that Aisha Huang, who's been arrested in connection with some galamsey activities, will bring you some updates later on. But let's talk.